So, we lost 9-20. This was supposed to be the night the Raiders sent a message to the entire AFC West, the moment they planted their flag at the top of the division and declared themselves contenders. Instead, it was another bitter pill. A divisional loss always hurts more than any other, but this one stings deeper because of what it represented. The opportunity was right there, a chance to lead the West, a chance to change the story. And in one long, frustrating night, it slipped away. The box score will tell you a simple story. Geno Smith threw 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, under 200 yards passing. Stat sheets are easy scapegoats. But if you actually watched the game, if you studied the tape and connected the dots, you'd see that the real story is far more complicated. Yes, Geno made costly mistakes, but this wasn't just about a quarterback struggling under the lights. This was a game lost in the trenches, in the play calling, in the inability to adjust. The truth is, the Raiders weren't just beaten by the Chargers, they were beaten by themselves. The optimism heading into Monday night was genuine. Week 1 gave a glimpse of what this team could be. A defense that could go toe-to-toe with anyone. An offense with young playmakers brimming with potential. And a rookie running back in Ashton Jeanty who looked primed to break out. Prime time lights, a divisional rival, and first place in the AFC West sitting there to be taken. It felt like destiny. And for a brief moment, it looked like the Raiders were ready to seize it. The defense opened strong, forcing the Chargers to settle for a field goal. Daniel Carlson answered with one of his signature kicks. The crowd buzzed with belief, but then piece by piece it all unraveled. Questionable play calls, blown assignments, and a stubborn refusal to adapt turned what could have been a season-defining win into another cautionary tale. The collapse began on the headset. Chip Kelly's game plan was outdated, predictable, and easy for the Chargers to anticipate. Everybody knows what that defense is built on. Cover 1, cover 3, quarters concepts, the very same shells Pete Carroll made famous and the Chargers now replicate. And yet, the Raiders lined up in static 2x2 formations over and over again. No motion to stress defenders, no bunches or stacks to create traffic, no creative wrinkles to break the rhythm. 9 times in the first half, the Raiders rolled out that same lifeless look, and 9 times it ended with the same results. Checkdowns for 2 yards, throwaways, or Geno taking sacks because nobody could separate. It wasn't until the second half that the adjustments came, but by then the Raiders were already digging out of a hole. And the cruelest part? When they finally spread the field intelligently, when they overloaded one side and forced the Chargers into mismatches, the offense started to hum. The opening drive of the second half chewed up 11 minutes of game clock. 11 minutes of crisp execution, of rhythm, of hope, only to die on a phantom holding call against Dylan Parham. Watch it back and you'll see. The defender slipped, Parham let go, and yet the flag flew. That touchdown drive was stripped away and replaced with 3 hollow points. On the next possession, momentum surged again, but instead of playing smart, the Raiders gambled on a low-percentage shot. 3rd and 3 in field goal range, down by 11. Kick it, make it a one-possession game. Instead, Geno forced a risky ball to Jacoby Myers. It got tipped, and the Chargers snatched it away. That's not just quarterback error. That's a failure in situational football, the kind that comes back to haunt you. Even personnel decisions made little sense. Brock Bowers is electric, but anyone could see he was hurt. He was limping, avoiding planting on his left knee, clearly compromised. And yet he was still the first read on critical downs, even on a 4th and 3 with the season's early momentum on the line. Why risk your star in week 2? Why lean on a limping player as your go-to option? It was reckless, it backfired, and it's emblematic of how disjointed the game plan really was. Now, let's talk about Geno. 3 interceptions. Ugly numbers. But numbers don't show context. Geno spent the night under siege. The interior of the offensive line collapsed repeatedly. Parham, Alex Kappa, and Jordan Meredith combined for nearly 30 losing reps. That's not poor, that's catastrophic. Geno's shot plays were doomed from the start. Trey Tucker beat his man clean for what should have been a touchdown. Geno needed to step and deliver, but Parham was shoved into his lap before he could plant. The ball died, the drive died. Later, Dante Thornton broke free, but the throw came off Geno's back foot because the pocket crumbled again. Fans will remember the incompletion. The tape shows a quarterback with no room to breathe. Meredith in particular had a nightmare. 5 erratic snaps, high, low, off-timed, each one throwing off rhythm. How can a quarterback scan the defense when he's just trying to corral the ball? On a crucial 3rd and 1 run, Meredith completely missed his assignment on a blitzing linebacker who crashed untouched and stuffed Zamir White for a 5-yard loss. That's football at its most basic, and it wasn't executed. And speaking of Zamir White, why was he even eating into Ashton Genty's snaps at all? Genty was averaging over 4 yards a carry, breaking tackles, providing spark. He ripped off an 11-yard run that showcased his power and balance. Then, inexplicably, he was pulled. White stepped in, lost 2 yards, and killed the drive. Coaching malpractice. You ride the hot hand. Instead, they benched him at the exact moment he was heating up. The Chargers dared the Raiders to run the ball, dropping 7 into coverage and practically begging them to pound the rock or take underneath throws. But instead of adapting, the Raiders forced deep shots into double coverage. Geno finished 0 for 11 on throws beyond 10 air yards. 0 completions. That's not just failed execution, that's willful ignorance of the defensive look you're facing. The offensive line was bad, but one man stood tall. Colton Miller was flawless at left tackle. While chaos unfolded inside, Miller locked down his edge, holding up in pass protection and giving Geno at least one reliable anchor. But one man can't carry an entire line. On defense, there were positives. Max Crosby did what Max Crosby always does, made plays that changed the tone, including a forced fumble late that gave the Raiders one final chance. Jonah Laulu was a revelation, racking up 2 sacks and collapsing the pocket with urgency. Jeremy Chin made critical stops in the red zone that kept the scoreline respectable. And Thomas Booker, though his stat sheet won't wow anyone, was disruptive up the middle, freeing others to eat. But the secondary? A disaster. Isaiah Pola-Mao was exposed repeatedly, surrendering over 100 yards, missing tackles, and giving up 2 touchdowns. He's a box safety being asked to play deep, and it's simply not working. Until the Raiders bring in a true free safety, busted coverages like the 60-yard bomb to Quentin Johnston are going to keep happening. And so, here we are, 2 weeks into the season, and the Raiders are still searching for an identity. The talent is there. The energy is there. But the execution is lacking. This is fixable, but it has to start immediately. Pete Carroll needs to sit Chip Kelly down and demand a game plan that reflects reality. Run the football. Lean on play action. Simplify the protections so the interior linemen aren't exposed. And for the love of Raider Nation, give Ashton Genty the touches he deserves. The Commanders are up next, and with rumors swirling about Jaden Daniels possibly missing time, it's a game the Raiders can absolutely win. But only if they stop sabotaging themselves. Geno has to bounce back. The offensive line has to protect him. Chip Kelly has to prove why he's the highest paid coordinator in football. And the Raiders as a whole have to prove that this isn't just the same old story. No more excuses. This season is still young, but momentum waits for no one. The chance to lead the AFC West slipped through their fingers Monday night. The next one cannot. So, Raider Nation, what do you think? Was this loss really on Geno, or was it the coaching and protection that doomed us? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more honest breakdowns of everything silver and black, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. This is the NFL Playbook Raiders, and the story of this season is just beginning.